Sometimes I really don't understand how lions manage to get themselves into certain positions. And well, I must say though, the prize today is in how are you sleeping like that goes to Tingana. Hands down, he's definitely the one that won it this morning. I think compared to him, all of the lions are actually sleeping in a very traditional way. They're not lying on top of trees, barely balancing. What's going on there, guys? Seems like the one on the grassy patch raised her head a little bit, but I think perhaps it was due to getting annoyed by some flies or something else. Don't really think there was anything coming this way. Now, we also know that there are no elephants here, so it's probably the best spot that they found to sleep for the little while. But make no mistake, even though they are fast asleep, should another opportunity present itself like it did a little bit earlier on where we were watching them, then definitely they will try and pursue it. Well, we can tell now that they are definitely on the hunt and they're looking for food. They're not looking particularly skinny, but they are looking like they're ready to get their next meal. So I'm pretty sure that tonight they're gonna pretty much go wherever opportunity takes them. Now, in this particular spot where we're in, it's quite thick. There's a lot of dense cover, so I think they might have a chance at actually succeeding around here and just bringing something down. But I'm not too sure if perhaps they're also going to try and call for the two males whose tracks were also seen crossing outside of Djuma today. So I doubt those guys are too far away. But hello, your head's up. What can you see? Oh, I think elephants. I actually maybe have even called them because I hear some breaking of branches not too far from here. Very faint still. Copy that? Now, again, I cannot really see anything, but I definitely hear something not too far from where we are now. I cannot see if it's perhaps a francolin that just flew or something along those lines, but clearly she doesn't think that is that interesting. The canine lions and hyenas can eat each other, and just for fun we can also add leopards in that mix. Now, they don't go out hunting each other to eat each other, but it can happen that if they get quite annoyed with one another that they might try. Sorry, I just have to answer the radio for a second. Standing by. Sorry, I really haven't copied anything much other than the Ngala. Alright, well, that's that. So yes, as I was saying earlier on, they don't go out looking for each other to hunt and eat each other, but really what they do is just if they bump into each other and there's a bit of an altercation, then they might kill each other. And if they're under a certain condition where there's stress or there's not much food, then they will definitely take that opportunity. They will not pass on the opportunity of a meal, because at the end, you know, hyenas, lion, leopard, it's all meat, but it's not the most common thing to see. And I have seen it, but it's in the past, but it's not pretty, that's for sure, but it's not their main intention. What they're really after is the antelopes or buffaloes or pretty much anything else other than another predator. You have given up, and the rest of the pride waking up and playing with you, at least until it's nightfall, haven't you? I feel sorry for him every now and again, or well, her. We're not too sure as to what it is yet. I suspect a female, but I could be very, very wrong. But yeah, I feel sorry. It's probably annoying wanting to play and then just having to behave and be good, because otherwise you're gonna get growled at by the rest of the pride. But he's definitely very attent. Look at him, he's super cute. Definitely not sleepy. It's almost like when the little kids are in bed and then they know everybody's asleep and it's time to sleep, but your head just wanders and you start looking around and what is that I hear, and is that a wasp flying around? It seems like Byron has decided to come back all the way to Djuma, so let's find out what his plans are from there.
Yep, I'm back on Djuma now, and I think what I'm going to try and do is head towards Treehouse Dam. I just want to check around there because apparently Tristan had very fresh tracks of a leopard, so I just want to have a look. Maybe there was a leopard resting in that area and is possibly going to decide to come out and move around now that it's a bit cooler. Who knows? So that's what we're going to try and look for. Just having a look. You can see some tracks have been circled here. I wonder if Tristan didn't walk all the way down here. Lovely fresh afternoon or early evening. And I'm going to try see if we can frame up something really nice for you. VM, is that moon between the trees? A little bit further. There we go. Look at that. Beautiful moon framed by a dead leadwood. I mean, not a leadwood, it looks like an old knobthorn. Lovely. Bobby, you were just asking about termite mounds and do they decompose? Is that what you said, decompose? Or I wonder if you mean do you mean, Bobby, that do they fall apart and then and return to natural soil? Bobby, no. The termite mounds, once they've been built, generally, yes, it is soil, but those mounds themselves, it's made up of soil, so there's nothing really for it to turn back into, if that makes sense. So all that happens is it provides an area for plant matter to grow on. You get a lot of trees, a lot of grasses, many different plant species growing on termite mounds because the soil is very fertile because of all the excuse me. There's all the termite feces and saliva that they use to make that termite mound with the mixture of soil. It's very fertile, so a lot of plant material grows there. There's nothing for it to turn back into, really. So all that would happen is when they are abandoned, eventually seeds may germinate inside there and plants will grow out of those termite mounds. Excuse me. Curtis, we've actually had that question quite a few times before. If animals change their behavior around full moon, then Curtis, no. I've never seen any major changes. Look, I think some of the predators probably won't be as successful. You might get a little bit more movement out of certain animals because it is a lot brighter. So even diurnal animals may move around at night. But in terms of a drastic change in behavior, no, not really. Not really. Why I was saying the predators might not be as successful is because it's so bright. So the prey species are able to look out and see a lot better and probably spot predators much easier than they would when it's a new moon, when it's completely dark. I see some elephant tracks. However, I think these Ellies walked that way, so back down the road, maybe towards that drainage line. I didn't really see it. I was about to say, and just quickly, I was about to say, we didn't see elephant this afternoon, but there's one across the clearing on the other side. Let's just have a quick look. There's an elephant. Moving through there. Okay, I've seen elephants and I'm happy. That elephant's quite far. I'm not sure if there are others around there. I don't see any others. Maybe just a lone bull. Alright, well, it sounds like Tristan's still out. I'm sure he's going to be heading back fairly shortly. Well, there's still a bit of light, but he's found some more elephant on foot. Let's go and have a look.
We have indeed, except that they're moving on to quarantine, and I'm actually quite keen to try and catch up with them because there's the most exquisite sunset at the moment, and with the Ellies on quarantine and the sunset, it'll be really pretty. But unfortunately, they've all kind of crossed the road already, so we're going to try and quickly get up in that way. So Ferg, you're going to have to follow us and try and come with us, and we're going to see if maybe just maybe we get a situation where we can actually spot these Ellies once again and try and actually view them. There's a really nice termite mound just on the sort of southern side of quarantine where they've walked to, and if they've gone past that mound, then maybe we can get up onto that mound and watch them from there, and we'll have the most beautiful view of the sunset. So just waiting for Ferg to catch up, and then also for Rex to go past me, because obviously Rex is the man with the rifle and he gets us into the decent positions while I talk to all of you. But it shouldn't take us long to get there. They're just up ahead of us, and so while we try and get there and see if we can find these Ellies and get into a good spot, let's send you back across to Ali and wonder if those lions are going to start waking up.
Well, I really don't think that they're going to start waking up, and I think we might actually leave them and then see if perhaps we can bump with any nocturnal creature as the sun starts coming down. I don't think the lions have their fair share of sleep today. It seems like they've had quite an interrupted sleep throughout the day, so I think that's going to push them to sleep a little bit further into the night than what they normally would, because they haven't had that very long all-day sleep and then moving up and then moving down with their hunting. So I'm going to try and figure a way out of here without possibly getting stuck in this big canyon. But we're going to send you guys off to Byron, who's with another beautiful spotted predator.
I am not a leopard, but a hyena. Oh no, I've been following it. It's been fine. It hasn't run. I was decided to run a little bit. Oh, now going off. Let's see if we can get a last view quickly. Hold on. Because you see, and that's what I was speaking about this morning with trying to track and find hyena. They walk all over the show and they zigzag and they move through long grass, thick bush. They're actually really difficult to keep up with. Let me try reverse quickly. Maybe we get a last view. I'm not going to follow that hyena through the bush. Can you still see it? Oh, there it goes, just moving off. You see also very well camouflaged. They can disappear easily. Now, this is the time of the evening where these animals would start getting active. Generally nocturnal predators moving around, possibly trying to follow or listen out for leopards making a kill or smelling if leopards have a kill. We know that they try and scavenge off of leopards quite often. Even those lions, if the lions make a kill and the hyena are close by, actually what they'll do is sometimes they call other hyena in so that they can all try and intimidate the lions and get them off a kill. I've seen that before. I've seen that happen. It's usually if they're females and youngsters and the clan of hyenas is quite large, they'll be able to chase those lions off. Usually if a hyena is moving around by itself like this, it may try to find a leopard that it could potentially try and steal some of the food from if it hasn't hoisted in the tree yet. That was a wonderful surprise. See, and like I said, this morning we saw tracks of hyena on just about every road. Now they move around a lot, constantly looking, smelling, listening out for food, for possible alarm calls, or smelling if they can pick up the scent of a carcass. And I said, and I do believe this, I think they are probably the best trackers in nature. They're very, very alert animals and can pick up the scent of just about anything. Okay, let's go back across to Tristan, who's still got elephant on foot.
Well, I do have Ellies on foot, And we are sitting in the middle of the thickets at a beautiful sunset, and we are just in amongst a herd of elephants. So there is a young bull that's just coming past. You can see him now. I'm quite hidden where I am. I might look like I'm in the real open, but I'm actually quite hidden from where this bull is, and he's following a herd that is heading towards an open area that we're going to try and get into a better position to see. Now, my name is Tristan, and on camera I've got Fergus, and we are coming to you live from South Africa, so that means that you can get involved with it and ask lots of questions, and you can do that by just posting your questions in the comment section below. Now, this bull Ellie, like I say, is following the rest of a herd that we just saw up ahead of us, and they're just on a clearing on the other side. So what I want to try to do is take you along with us as we go and try and get closer to this herd of elephants. And what we need to do when we do this is to stay nice and quiet, watch where we're stepping, and keep our eyes open. It's starting to get to quite a dark period in the day, and so we need to be a little careful about the way that we do it. But I'm pretty sure if we just kind of slow and steady, we'll get ourselves into a position where we'll be able to see these Ellies absolutely beautifully. So let's see how we go. There you can see the last of the Ellies is just going through the thicket there. It's quite difficult to see. It's just a grey bum that is moving through, and when you walk into elephants, it obviously is a potentially very dangerous situation. Elephants are really big animals, and when they're in a herd structure, they'll often try and protect their young, and so you've got to watch what you're doing and make sure that you're very observant, and particularly in light like this, because an elephant can actually blend incredibly well. But that Ellie is slowly pushing off to the rest of the herd, so we're going to keep going, and we're going to try and, like I say, take you along with us as we move through. Now, when we're doing these kind of things, it's always very important to test the wind and to make sure that the wind is in your favor. And one of the things you can use is a bit of scrub hair dung. Now, this is dung that a scrub hair, which is like a rabbit, has defecated, and if you take it and you just squash it in your fingers and you hold it up, you see how it's very powdery, and now it can indicate which way the wind is going. So the wind is blowing over my right shoulder, which means the elephants are there. I need to cut a little further north, and then we'll be able to view them without the wind disturbing them. So let's go. Aileen, you say this is so awesome with the sunset behind. It is absolutely wonderful. It's such a special experience to be on foot with Africa's giants, sunsetting. It is a very, very special thing to do, and we are very privileged to be able to do this and have you along for the ride with us. So what we're going to try and do, just sneak a little further forward. There's a termite mound that's not too far from where I am now, and that's where we're going to try and head to try and get a bit of elevation so that we can see these Ellies quite nicely. Also, a termite mound provides a little bit of protection from elephants. They don't like it when things are taller than them, and that's when they get a little bit kind of more nervous about what's going on, and they'll back down a little bit. So we'll try and see if we can find a little bit of height. Angela, you say you just love elephants. Well, Angela, I can't agree more. Elephants are amazing animals, and what's not to like? They're big, they're intelligent, they're socially very, very, very structured, and so they're amazing animals from that sort of point of view. Is they have a very unique kind of life with the females that lead the herd and make sure that they are safe. They're amazing creatures, so very, very special. That's why I love elephants, and especially being on foot with them. Now, we're coming out towards the clearing. That's the termite mound that I want to get to over there. So we're going to try and just kind of sneak in that direction and hope that the Ellies just stay where they are, because they should be just in front here. So, Stacy, you're asking, has there been an influx of elephant herds recently? So yes, Stacy, lots of elephant herds, and the reason why is all of these big trees that you're seeing behind me are fruiting at the moment. So they've got a lot of fruit in them, which means that these animals are coming for this nutrient-rich fruit, and that's what they're after. Now, I thought the Ellies might be a little bit more visible than they are. You can see lots of tracks on the ground here, which is where they walked, and so I'm hoping that if we go up this mound, we'll be able to see them quite clearly. I was hoping they'd be kind of out in the clearing, and with the sunset, it would have been really pretty, but it seems as though they've kind of gone back into the thicket. I'm just trying to see nicely. No, I think they've pushed a little further than I originally thought. Maybe what happened is they caught our scent and they got into a position where they were able to smell us, and then that's what made them move off a little bit. We were not great with the wind, so I think they've moved off, unfortunately. But from here we would have had the most spectacular view had they been in the open, but unfortunately I think they've gone into this thicket behind me, so I don't know if we'll be able to pursue them from there. So, Elizabeth, elephants can be... Well, I suppose it doesn't really matter whether it's night or day. The problem with elephants at night is often people get much closer than they think they're getting because elephants blend in so well in the dark. It makes it very difficult for people to actually see them. And so you often have a situation where people get very close to them and they then obviously upset the elephants a little bit more. The other thing is that elephants at night will sometimes go into areas where they know they're not supposed to be. So camps, farmland areas. And when they go into those places, they're already in a sort of heightened level of stress because they know that it's a dangerous place to go. And so people that come across elephants at night in those areas often have a lot of problems. So it's a thing where you've got to be a little careful. But here in this particular part of the world where the elephants are treated with respect and we don't really see them too much at night and don't drive around too much at night, they're actually not too bad at all. They're pretty much the same day or night. So it doesn't really matter too much. Unfortunately, though, this herd, I think, has just pushed too far for us to actually keep up with them. It's also getting far too dark now to follow through the thickets. And so it's been a pleasure having you with us. I hope that you enjoyed that brief little glimpse of an elephant on foot, and it was absolutely amazing to have you. And hopefully we'll see you on a safari with Safari Live again. You can just try and search for it on Google and you'll be able to find us there. So from myself and Ferg, it's been an absolute pleasure, and we'll see you all very soon. Right, so unfortunately the Ellies moved a little faster than we wanted to. They've actually dropped, just saw a brief glimpse of them dropping down into the drainage line off their western side of quarantine, so a little too quick for us. But anyway, it was worth trying to get closer. It was very cool to spend so much time with so many animals this afternoon. So we're going to start heading closer towards home. It's starting to get very dingy out here, and so while we do that, let's send you back across to Byron. I wonder if he's kept up with that hyena or if he's had any luck with that male leopard.
No, unfortunately, no luck with the leopard just yet, but a few little elephant that came down to the dam. This one, a younger elephant, is just below us actually. There's a female that walked past. She didn't seem too comfortable to drink, but she is feeding behind us. We won't be able to show you now, but let's see if this one drinks again. Oh, there we go. Beautiful time of the day. Lovely reflection on the water. This would be great for photographs, I think, from the other side. You probably get a wonderful reflection. Very, very peaceful. Now, this is actually a perfect time for sundowners. We would usually do this with, obviously, with guests when you're on safari. Often stop for sundowners, have some refreshments, maybe a few snacks, enjoy the sunset. And sometimes you have animals coming past. You might. If you stop at a dam, you might have elephant coming down to drink. Just get everybody close to the vehicle, stand very quietly, and you might be able to enjoy an elephant drinking. Look at that. I think you can all hear it splashing the water around. Oh. trying to spray water on us. That's what that elephant thought of my comment about sundowners, maybe bragging a little bit. We got sundowners and we didn't. It was wonderful. Eloise, I've never seen elephants drinking directly with their mouth. You know what? Some elephants do injure or lose a trunk. I've seen elephants like that before. Then they'd have to. But you know, I've seen youngsters sometimes when they're wallowing in water put their mouth down and drink a little bit of water. But generally, adults, they use their trunks. So Eloise, it can happen, but only in, I think, on the odd occasion. Well, let's carry on. We've still got some light. Let's see if we can find this leopard that is in this area. I'm not sure which direction it went. And obviously we won't be able to track now. We've lost the light. But maybe bump into something around here. There's some impala that have been feeding around and they seem very relaxed. So I doubt there's a threat nearby, but you never know. You never know. Reese, you know what? I haven't had the luck, I suppose, of seeing a crocodile kill at the water. Well, to an extent. I'll tell you what I have seen. I've seen crocodile actually. Now, this was actually quite fascinating. Crocodile. What it did was, and crocodiles often do this, especially in this area. They'll move up to the shallows of the dam or the water hole, and what they do is they actually move their tail. So the head will be this side. They'll move their tail around, and they kind of coax the fish into the shallows. And as the fish get to the really, really shallow parts of the dam, I've seen the crocodile turn and lunge, and they open their mouth and basically swipe up any fish that is possibly in that shallow water that they can grab. I've seen that before a few times. I once saw. Okay, first, you know, this area is very different to the Masai Mara, for example. We don't have huge crossings of rivers, and we don't get to see those massive crocodiles hunting wildebeest and zebra and other animals like they do up there. But animals still go down and drink, and I have seen crocodiles feeding on animals, but I've never seen them actually catch one. Once I was working on Londolozi, got to a dam, and as we got there, a crocodile had just grabbed a wildebeest by its snout. Managed to, by the leg. It grabbed it by its leg, and it was pulling it into the water and pulled it right across to the other side of the dam. And this wildebeest just fought and eventually pulled the crocodile back to the other side. But during midway, the crocodile let go, swam around, and managed to grab the wildebeest by the throat, or bottom jaw rather. The wildebeest kept fighting, and eventually, somehow, managed to actually get away from the crocodile back on the side of the dam where it was originally caught. Stumbled out, both legs were broken. It got away from the water hole, but went and lay down in a drainage line and unfortunately died the next day. But it was very badly injured, but I can't believe that it got away from the crocodile. A leopard actually found it the next day and started feeding on it, but it was an amazing sighting. It's not always easy to see sightings like that, and they can be a bit traumatic, but it's nature, and so it was fascinating to see how powerful that wildebeest was to fight and get away from that crocodile. That was really an intense sighting. Okay, I'm going to carry on checking around here. Let's go across to Ellie now. I think she's got some feathered friends. That's interesting.
We do, but they sort of started flying away. There's a tree not too far from us, or I should say right on top of us, and that's where they're headed. But there we go. That's exactly what we wanted to show you. Those are the chicks of the guinea fowl, the helmeted guinea fowl. And I thought they were done for the summer with the chicks, or that most of them would have already been big enough to have their colors. But no, seems like we've got 2 late chicks for the season. Oh, 3 actually. can see a third one running around in there. That's great. That's really awesome to still be seeing it so late into the summertime. Now it seems like this particular group has not finished feeding and they're still busy moving around in there. Probably just getting the last few seeds as the little one is doing them. Yeah, there we go. Getting some grass seeds from the overhanging stems that it's found there. It almost reminds me of that little Franklin chick that we had a few days ago. Now probably just finishing eating before they head back onto the tree and then they call it a day. Now we're going to leave them to their dinner and their fluffing up and their nighttime activities, and we'll head back to Tristan, who's got a beautiful view of the moon.
We do indeed. It is a absolutely perfect sunset that we've had this evening. The sun has gone down, the evening is crisp and clear, and the moon is almost full moon, and it is absolutely beautiful. It is big and round and bright and looking very, very spiffy, but it also unfortunately signifies the fact that we're going to have to start heading home soon. Otherwise we're going to end up in the dark, and it's going to be a very, very difficult challenge to kind of stay safe. But we are not far from home. We're very, very close, and so that's going to be okay. I've had a thoroughly good afternoon, actually. I really enjoyed the walk this afternoon, and it'll be my last walk before I go on leave. So myself and Ellie actually head off tomorrow. So I've thoroughly enjoyed kind of being out and walking through, and like I say, the temperature today has been perfect. It's been a beautiful, beautiful afternoon, filled with lots of very cool things. So I've thoroughly enjoyed what we've gotten up to this afternoon, and I think Fergus has as well. We've had a bit of everything, I suppose. We've had attacking insects and all kinds of other things, so it's been super, super cool. I was hoping to get a last elephant bull on quarantine. It's kind of every night that I've been walking around or coming home on quarantine in the vehicles, there's been an elephant bull sitting here, and I kind of had this sort of thought in my mind that I'd get out onto quarantine and we'd get a situation where there's going to be this big bull elephant and we'll just sit until it gets to that point where it's just so dark that we can't really see anymore. But alas, my plan has not gone according to what I wanted it to be, but alas, that's the way life goes out here, and you can't be too ungrateful. Like I say, we've had an epic afternoon. But we're going to head home before it gets too dark. While we do that, let's send you back across to Byron, who is still, I think, searching for that male leopard.
Yep, trying, Tristan, trying, but no sign. Now, I wonder if we've had tracks of a male leopard in this area the last 2 days, so he's been very secretive because we're struggling to find him. I'm not sure if it is the same leopard or if two different leopards have passed through, but I would assume it's probably the same leopard. But maybe we have luck tomorrow if we don't bump into him now, this evening. And I'm checking everywhere, but no sign just yet. There's also a lot of impala around, so if that leopard did poke his head out of the thicket, I'm sure those impala would alarm call and give us a better chance of finding him. Well, in the meantime, I think we'll look for a leopard, but we'll also look for some nocturnal activity, see what we can find. I'd love to find another owl. The owls, they have been calling, but they've been fairly scarce. Not that many. Possibly a chameleon. Maybe a scorpion. Who knows? Let's see. Just going to check this little drainage quite carefully, because often we know leopards tend to enjoy hiding down here, or maybe using these thicker areas to wander through. And I'd really like to find another chameleon. Peter Viper, did you ask, would any animals in the Sabi Sands area enjoy the snow? No, I don't think so. These animals have never seen snow, so I don't think they'd enjoy it very much. We know snow out here in this part of South Africa, that's for sure. The closest we get to something that resembles snow might be hail. That's about it. We have had hailstorms out here, but no snow, that's for sure. Can you imagine That big male leopard Tingana is sitting in the snow shivering. That wouldn't be very nice, would it? Thought I spotted something. No. False alarm. My eyes are playing tricks on me. It's because I'm so eager to try and find a little creature like a chameleon or scorpion or leopard. Anything really. You know what, I was just saying to Viam, I'd love to find a snake in the tree. And my friend Judas used to do it often. And I don't know how he did it. But he'd find a little tree snake or a boomslang up in a tree regularly on drive. Alright, but while I search high and low, let's go across to Ellie and see where she's off to.
Well, we managed to spot these 2 hyenas on the road from quite a distance, so we came as quickly as we could just to make sure that we wouldn't lose them, because hyenas are tricky animals to follow. Now, there's one that's still in front of us, and one has dashed off into the bush, so I'm hoping that they're going to come back in onto the road and they're going to carry on walking down there. And it's good to finally see who's been walking around here. Now there they go off into the distance, and they're busy sniffing all around. Now by the looks of it, one of them is definitely older than the other one, just because it's got a lighter coloration and a bit of a fluffier coat altogether. And the other one that we cannot see anymore seemed to be a little bit older because it had less of a fluffier coat and much darker. Now hyenas normally go out in either by themselves or in small groups when they start their night patrols or their night foraging sessions. So although it's more usual to see just one together, also seeing 2 together is fairly common and very exciting to actually have been able to see hyenas. I haven't seen them for a while. The last time I saw them was pretty much early morning, even before show started, I think about a week ago or so. So very cool to see them. Very happy to know that they're still around, and actually I hope that we get a hyena den soon enough, because it would be wonderful. Monique, you would like us to find a night jar. Okay, well, challenge accepted. We shall try to find a night jar for you. They are normally sitting in the middle of the road as we drive, but I think still a little bit early. Perhaps in a little while later then we'll be able to find one. Now unfortunately we cannot follow the hyenas into the bush as per the reserve rules, so we have to let them go and wish them a good luck altogether. Maybe they'll be able to find us a leopard tomorrow morning. Now they can either be hunting, they can be looking for their own food to hunt down, or they can be looking to scavenge from somebody else. Sinag, well, I would reckon something like a genet would be the closest thing that would be able to get a guinea fowl. Guinea fowls tend to roost on trees, so it's very hard for anything to try and get them. Leopards, of course, could try their luck, but the idea to roost in a tree is just so that nobody really picks up on the fact that you're there. So hyenas, leopards, lions, guinea fowl would all see them coming from a mile away. A genet, on the other hand, might be living on the tree already, where the guinea fowl choose to roost, so it might have a night advantage on them. So if I had to choose, I would probably say a genet. They can become quite ferocious little creatures, so why not? Maybe genet. But the bigger predators that hunting during the day, I don't think they would have any luck during the night. They would probably not do all that well. Now probably need to start getting the spotlight out soon enough. Maybe we'll be able to spot some chameleons. I know Tristan had one the other day, so I would definitely love to see one again as well. Alright, seems like Byron already has got his spotlight out, so let's head back to him. Maybe he'll find the chameleon first.
No, not yet, not yet. I am looking though. I'm looking very, very carefully. No sign just yet. Nice evening. Sinak, you're asking about those snakes that I was speaking about, and the boomslang or the tree snake, and are they nocturnal? They are. They've got very large eyes, so it does help them move around at night. So they do. I mean, obviously active during the day too, but they can move around and hunt at night. They've got huge eyes, very, very big eyes. So they'd probably try and hunt creatures like those chameleons. Perfect meal for a worm slug. No, I can't find a worm slug or a chameleon. So it's actually quite tricky at times. I don't know what it is. Why we can't find. I found one the other night, but sure, usually we tend to see a lot more, unless the vegetation is just so green that it's. Oh, I think it's just a leaf, but almost looked like one. Nah. VM, is that a baby? I think it is. Can you see there? It's a baby chameleon. Yo! Have a look just a little bit down. Can you see? Have you got it? No. Let me jump off. VM, if I can ask you to hold the spotlight just there. Hold on a second. Let me jump off. Have a look at this. Look at this little guy over here. Can you see him there, VM? Right at the tip of my finger. Have you got him? Look how big this little chameleon is, Sham. I don't want to disturb him. He's just moving. But look, I mean, he's about the size of my finger. Yes. Eh? How's that? Chameleon spot of the year, I think. I'm claiming it. I'm going to go back and brag to Tristan. That is wonderful. That's so special. See, I still get very, very excited about these little creatures. And that is so cute. A little baby chameleon. Oh, that's awesome. Isn't that beautiful? Bree, I don't know, practice. But you know what? It is a slightly different shade of green, and the shape just looked different to those leaves. But it is a bit of practice, and yeah, I mean, my friend Judas, a tracker I used to work with, he used to spot chameleons. I'd sometimes challenge him, and then I'd spot one or two, and then he'd say, okay. And then by the time we got to camp, it was about 10 or 8 that he spotted, and I still just had 2. So he taught me a lot about spotting these little creatures. Yeah, you can see it blends in perfectly there. Only when VM zooms in can you actually see that little baby chameleon. Now, this is the flap-necked chameleon. The only species we get in this area. But you can actually see that beautiful prehensile tail. That basically means it's able to use the tail as a limb. So it can curl around a branch and hang on if it needs to. Ah, wonderful. I'm going to take the lights off. We've had a wonderful view of it. Don't want to disturb it anymore. Let's leave that beautiful little chameleon. You can still get it with infrared. Of course. Forgot about the infrared. How cool is that? That is really, really awesome. Sure. I doubted myself for a second. That is cool. Hey? That's wonderful. See, our persistence paid off. A little baby chameleon. Well, I think I've earned my supper for tonight. Hopefully so. Hopefully Tristan doesn't shout at me, and hopefully he gets back to camp before I do. Oh yeah, he has, definitely. He's on bushwalk. So now we can tease him a little bit about getting back to camp early. We love teasing one another. I must admit, it's been so wonderful driving with Tristan and Ellie again, and we've had a lot of fun in camp too. It's always very, very enjoyable. Great team. I think we just need James back here. Or I'd like to drive with James again. All right, let's go across to Ellie and see if she's managed to spot anything in the trees.
Well, we did. We had a bush baby, but it jumped away, and now we can't seem to find it again. So I'm hoping that maybe if we come around here, then we'll see it, but seems like no luck. And we also heard a nightjar calling in the distance, which is actually a very pretty call. I should play that for you, because it is one of those very characteristic night calls that just make it so special when you come on safari. So I'm just, oh, there we go. Maybe you can hear it in the distance. I'm just going to be quiet while I look for it on my phone. Here we go, calling in the distance. Alrighty. So that's the bird that we're looking for. Most of the time it's quite easy to find it during the nighttime, because it is on the road a lot of the times, and this is what it looks like when it's out in the open or when it's flying around. Now let me see if, okay, well, we don't have a better photograph, just this one, but we only get to see it flying away when we give him a fright, because most of the time they're just sitting still, very, very still on the road. And well, they call the night jar because they've got a mouth as big as a jar. Now, for some people, and to me it doesn't sound anything like it, but it's one of those things. For a lot of people, the call of the fiery neck nightjar says, "Good Lord, deliver us." I do not hear that in the call whatsoever, but it does work some people, so I'm just going to put it out there in case you guys do think, or it does sound like that to anyone, then it's an easy way to remember that call. To me, it just sounds like a beautiful melody, and now I've learned that the call sounds like that, but the "Good Lord, deliver us" part definitely makes no sense to me. But anyway, to each their own with their with the bird calls. Come, bush babies. First lady, bush babies and monkeys are distantly related. They are both primates, so they share a common ancestor somewhere further up the taxonomical line, about probably millions of years ago. So yes, they are related on some level, but they are very different. Bush babies, well, we have two species of bush baby here. The lesser bush baby, which is the one that we get to see more commonly, which is tiny. It's only about this big. And then the thick-tailed bush baby, which is a lot bigger, and it's almost the size of a small cat. Now, both these creatures are nocturnal, so they're not really like monkeys in the sense they are arboreal though, just like the monkeys, but they will come out during the night rather than during the day, so it's a little bit more difficult to find them. What is that I'm hearing? It sounded like maybe some guinea fowl were alarming in the distance, so I thought maybe there was something in there, but no. No, I'm just wheeling leopards everywhere where I go now. Let's see, what else is there here? Right, I think it's that time of the day where we have to start heading back home, so I'm going to say goodnight for today, but we'll send you across to Byron. Hopefully he'll be able to spot a nightjar and a chameleon before the drive wraps.
Not a nightjar or chameleon, something a little bit easier. There's a herd of elephant feeding very close to us, and isn't that beautiful with the moon shining on them? Ah, that's wonderful, wonderful. Let's just see, are they coming closer to us? I'll sit quietly. Luckily we're in the dark, so this is really beautiful. They're feeding so close to us. There's a nice cool breeze on these clearings at the moment. I Now, Jared, these elephants, they will rest at night, but they don't necessarily sleep. Sometimes they might lay down and rest for an hour or so, but generally at night the elephants still move around. They also occasionally rest standing up, but they don't sleep like we need to sleep. All right, well, I don't want to move too much. It's been a wonderful afternoon. We've had leopard, we've had the lions, Tristan on bushwalk, a lot of elephant. Oh, they're just having a look at us. But so thank you, Tristan. Thank you, Ellie, and VM with me, Senzo and Ferg with the other two, and Faith in Final Control. But a huge thank you, as always, to all our viewers. It's wonderful that you join us on these safaris and send us your questions and your comments. We love hearing from you, and also to have a bit of fun while we are out. Now, I do think that perhaps I started thanking everybody a little too early. But fortunately we've got these elephant close by to us, and they're moving off, and they are going to get going, and I am going to do the same and start making my way back to camp. Thank you very much, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Good night. Goodbye.